Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Baldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we're loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping with news that's jaw dropping. They're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening. If you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater. You better just let it go when all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the deal is done.
Welcome to episode 134 of Sports on Tap Detroit, alongside Joe Waddell and Frank Giagata. I'm Chris Scott. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing good, man. I'm glad to be back in the studio. I love this.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm to borrow a line from Cody Rhodes. So, what do you guys want to talk about?
Baldman Entertainment. We all know planning an event such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell of Baldman Entertainment a call today at 586-747-5402. He's the resident DJ at St. Hubert's Festival every year. If he's good enough for God, then he's good enough for you. Again, that's Baldman Entertainment, 586-747-5402. The best decision you can make for a smooth event.
Well played, sir. Well played.
I was really hoping you were going to jump right into yours after he was done.
Oh, I should have, honestly. But yeah,
sorry.
Well played on your part. Well played.
All right.
Yes.
So I feel like we don't have much to talk about on the show today.
And Jeremy Yankowski, Happy New Year to you, fucker.
Yeah.
Happy Chinooka.
Happy Chinooka. Happy New Year, buddy.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
When do you,
Yeah, I
when,
feel like
when
you
is
don't-
it appropriate to stop saying that? After, like tomorrow?
Now.
Okay. That's what I thought. That's kind of where I was at, too.
I say it the day of. Either that night and the day of, and then you're done. Like,
I'm
it's
with you
not,
on that. Like that third day, like if you say Happy New Year to me.
Yeah,
like-
but some people say it for like a month and a half to 2 months. Like,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
I have like
Why?
a 3-hour window between 11 o'clock and 1 a.m. Say it then, get the fuck over it.
No, I'm fine with the day after. I'm not a big fan of it. Like that third day, like January 3rd, but like after that, it's just no, don't say it to me.
Dennis says go with the best. See, I was questioning on what we had to talk about, honestly. Like, I didn't know. I don't know what we're going to fill this show with. And Dennis says go with the big news first. The Rock on Monday Night Raw.
The Rock is back.
The Rock is back on Monday Night Raw. And he literally said
The head of
he
the
wanted
table.
to sit at the head of the table.
Now,
Which I'll be honest with you,
it was pretty dope.
I kind of got some goosebumps
was
because
pretty
the
dope.
kid in
It really
me,
was.
back watching him and Stone
Yeah.
Cold, younger, not a kid, I guess, but younger
Oh yeah,
teenager, I was like, oh man,
it was pretty sweet.
he's back and he's challenging
Now, like
Roman Reigns. I love
everything leading up to that that show was terrible.
Oh, it was awful. The
was an
Jinder,
awful
the
show.
Jinder Mahal stuff.
Yeah,
and
I
then
thought
and
the
then
Jinder shit was hilarious after The Rock came out.
right.
Yes.
When Jinder came out, I was furious.
Even part of the Rock's portion of that, I was like, do we really need this? Like,
it was
come on,
very
man.
gimmicky.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. So, and I'm a huge fan of The Rock. I know you're maybe not as much
Sure,
sold.
absolutely, I'm with you.
Even my daughter
Yeah,
gets fucking pumped to see The Rock, and I love that
Yeah.
because she doesn't really like wrestling a whole lot, but she watches it with me because she knows I like it, and she watches her
Right.
pad or whatever.
I mean, to me, it's one of the best entrances in
It is. It's-
wrestling history.
That and Stone Cold's for me are the two
Even
top
Triple
ones.
H's,
Yeah.
The Undertaker.
See, The Undertaker for me
But
is not.
The
Triple H is-
Undertaker just takes too long.
Triple H's
That's
for me.
fair,
You're right.
but like the everything behind it is pretty cool. Like,
But
yeah,
then-
you're right. It does take a long time though.
But the last time The Rock showed up on SmackDown, Raylan was watching it with me.
Yeah.
And it hit. And I sat up and I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
you popped.
Because that was one where you didn't know he was going to be there. I popped up and Raylan looks at me and she's like, what? And then she looks at the TV and she goes, Dad, that's The Rock. And I was like, oh, I am so fucking proud of you. Yes, it is.
See, I unfortunately, his last 2 returns I had spoiled for me. Yesterday, he was with Nick Khan at Michigan's game when they kicked off. So I looked it up, and San Diego was not even 2 hours away.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of like,
Pasadena,
okay,
yeah.
it makes sense. They're together.
Yeah.
He's probably going to show up. And then the time before, he was on McAfee that morning. So as soon as McAfee's music hit, I knew The Rock
Yeah,
was
because
there,
that was
too.
they were in Boulder, right?
Yeah, they were in Boulder for that
Colorado
one.
for a Colorado game, and
Yep.
then he went to Denver that night.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I don't follow that stuff that closely, so I don't know all that stuff.
I don't have much else going on right now. So.
And I touche, but like you're even when you do have that stuff, like you're more involved in like the Twitter and seeing what's
Yeah.
going on. Nothing. Now I kind of knew he was going to show up yesterday
Okay.
because there was big rumors about an ex-champion showing up, and it was pretty much like it was going to be him.
It was like
wasn't-
it was either going to be him or Stone Cold. You know.
So the funny thing was, everything like behind the scenes was saying,
Yeah.
they were saying it was going to be Andrade.
oh,
Which again would have been a letdown.
see, I also heard Batista too.
Batista
Batista
was
would've
a
been
name
cool.
I heard late.
That would have been cool.
But Andrade,
I'm
Not
all-
The Rock cool, but it would have been cool.
See, a lot of people aren't a fan of Batista. If his music would have dropped, I'd have been pumped too. I'd have been like, yeah,
I loved
Batista's
his
back.
entrance.
Yeah,
he did the
yeah.
fucking machine gun.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm cool with that too. Yeah, bring him back. I'm down with that.
But Andrade's contract came up with AEW at the first of the year, so everybody was like, it just makes perfect sense to throw him right in there right away. And he's married to Charlotte Flair now, so it kind of added up to make sense to me.
Dennis says on the mic he's one of the best. Agree with you, Dennis.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Actually, on the mic, I think he's probably the best to ever do it, in my opinion. Off the cuff, just witty,
Yeah,
funny.
when it wasn't scripted.
Well, yeah, when it wasn't, yeah, when he could just go out there and be himself, yeah.
Yeah, when
Like-
he had to script, he had to write it on his arm.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then it just kind of
and
went
he
down
got
the tank.
and
but-
he got called out by Cena for doing
Right.
it.
God, I remember that. That was so awesome when he got called out. You could tell he was legit pissed.
Oh, he
when-
was pissed.
He was irate when he did that.
Those two hated each other.
They did.
prior to their matches.
They did.
Yep.
Once they
you
had the
watched that.
matches, they were good.
You watched that documentary.
Oh,
it was great.
I watch it like once a year.
Like they legit hated each other.
What documentary is that?
About The Rock and Cena? They legit hated each other.
And then Dennis says Batista is what I heard a lot of too.
Yeah.
that was the one I heard a lot of. But I still was dead set it was going to be The Rock. To me, I was like, I was just sitting there waiting for it. And then Jinder Mahal's music came on, and I was like, all right, well, I know The Rock's coming out, so let's just get to that. We know what's happening.
and you did the traditional good guy, bad guy thing. Jinder, you
Yeah.
know, took the
Dog
the
in the-
cheap route.
Yeah.
Well, and he took one for the team. He basically played with the team. He's like, all right, I'll go out there and insult the USA and insult the crowd, and then you come out as the people's champ.
I mean,
and
pretty
you-
much the only time he's going to get TV time.
right. Yeah.
know?
He's been on NXT. Like, he's been gone. He's
Right.
nothing anymore in that company.
Dennis, you're fine because we would have talked about this at some
Yeah,
point
we would've
anyway.
probably
So we
gotten
just
to
started.
the
We
end of
just
the show,
started it off. Dennis says, but I didn't really mean to start the show with
Oh, yeah.
wrestling. Fuck it, we started the show with wrestling. There's really nothing else to talk about. What else do we got?
Not
I was
that
gonna
I
say
know of.
Michigan won, Lions lost. Obviously, stuff to get into for those two things, but after that, there's nothing.
Wait, what?
What happened?
I see. I was just like I thought wrestling, and there was really nothing else to talk about.
All right. Well, that being said, let's go. We can talk about Pistons. Dennis, they won.
Pistons
Yeah,
broke the
that-
streak.
They won a game.
They still have the longest losing streak in history. They got a big win. Now they're back on the next losing streak.
Which, by the way, one thing I did have to say about that losing streak,
Yeah.
they're trying to explain that there's a situation where the 76ers lost the end of one season and into the next.
Yeah.
That doesn't count as a losing streak, guys. Don't try to pass that off.
Well, even then,
That's
the
a
Pistons
different
still beat
team.
that one.
Yes.
No,
right,
they
Dennis.
missed it by
Big
one
win.
game.
Big win. Dennis says big win.
Big win.
That streak was 29 games. Pistons snapped theirs
Really?
at 28. Yeah. But they're trying to pass that off, so they're not.
No, if you
Yeah,
got to do
no.
that shit in one season.
No,
Yeah,
single season.
one
guys.
season.
Yeah, one season. You can't extend it into another season. That's absurd.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, well, that happened. So, as
Yeah,
Detroit fans, we got
so,
that going.
So you just
for
want
us.
to end the show now?
Yeah, give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media.
Wait, I still got read to do.
You guys both got to do your
You better
reads.
you better get it out of the way, man.
You guys want to do your reads real quick so we can just end the show? We're done. Like, there's nothing else to talk about.
All right, so we'll do top of mind first since it just happened yesterday. The Michigan-Alabama game. Yeah. Actually, talk about both games because honestly, both games were good. And usually we see like last year, Michigan. Actually, both games were good last year too. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
ended up being. But we get to the Michigan game. I'm watching that game. I'm like, God, it's same old shit with this. One side of their team just decides to not show up.
Special teams.
And don't get me wrong, their offense wasn't great either.
No, and listen, JJ pretty much played like shit for most of the game. Other than that last drive where Roman Wilson came alive. Even that tip pass. If Roman Wilson doesn't get his fingertips on that and catch it, game's over.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean they didn't play their best game.
No, they didn't. And I obviously in our group text, I text you guys, I despise the way he throws the ball. Because every time you look at his lead foot, it's always off to the side. It's never like toward the receiver he's throwing to. And that's why he makes a lot of errant passes. That's why a lot of time he airmails passes that he throws.
Dennis, don't. I know you're not a huge Lions fan, so don't throw that in there. Dennis, Michigan going to the Natty for the first time in years. Yes, that is true. And then he says Lions get screwed every week. No big deal.
We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but
we'll get to that in a minute.
I mean, in fairness, every team kind of gets screwed every week anymore.
It's
officiating. Just par for the course.
It's terrible. Yes, but we will get to that shortly.
We will.
But back to Michigan, like I thought their defense came to play last night, and they more than gave
absolutely
the offense a chance to win that game.
They are the reason they won that game,
I agree
because
with you.
without that defense playing at another level,
yeah.
In that first half they had 5 sacks.
Yep.
On a mobile big quarterback, which everyone thought was going to run wild on them, and they contained him. The defense played awesome. Offense was lackluster, and the special teams was less than lackluster.
The special teams was horrendous yesterday. Like 2 drop punts, missed field goals, missed PAT. And, of course, it's fucking kickers, man. Fucking kickers. I'm looking at it. They're down by 4. I'm like, good Lord. Like, make the extra. Like, come on. What are we doing?
I know.
And it wasn't even the kickers, though. It was the snappers for the most part.
But, and then the missed field goal, which he just booted the shit out of that one. And the missed punt down by the goal line. Again, if that bounces pretty much any other way, they're fucked.
Oh, yeah. The fact he recovered it at the 1-yard line was because as soon as he muffed it, I went, "Well, there's a fucking game." Like I literally sat up my seat. I was like, "That's game," and then it just bounced just perfectly. To recover on the one, I'm like,
hit a fucking wall and stop.
Oh, it literally just it was like there was no air in the ball. Once it bounced past his hands, it's like the ball just like thud. If that takes any type of actual bounce, that game's over.
Game set match for sure.
That's trouble with the snap all over again.
Yes, but they got the break and did what they needed to do to at least get the game to overtime. And obviously with college overtime, it's kind of a crapshoot. And I like that both teams get a chance regardless.
It is, but I like Michigan's philosophy though. You take the extra point, you go to overtime, and you have a chance to win.
Yeah, unlike.
Oh, I wasn't leading into anything. I was just saying.
Oh, we can lead into.
I like the philosophy that they go into. I thought we wanted to talk about one of the other college games too.
It was a great unintentional lead-in.
No, I did it on purpose.
I know you
but
did.
I was just kind of letting it sit there for a little bit.
Letting it simmer.
He's teasing it.
Well, so congratulations to Michigan. They finally get to a national championship game.
Congratulations to Jim Harbaugh for finally getting the monkey off his back and winning a fucking playoff game with Michigan. Now go out there and finish it.
Yep, and I see, obviously the asterisks and doesn't matter. It's gonna get taken away anyway. It doesn't matter if it gets taken away.
Okay, first of all,
it makes no difference.
Okay, first of all, it's not going to get taken away because I don't think it's not as egregious as they're going to take the national championship away. If he comes back next year, which is a big if, which we talked about is a big if. None of us believe he's coming back next year.
My opinion has changed on that.
You think he's coming back?
Yeah, I do think he's coming back.
I still don't. I think there's a reason he just got an NFL agent. And I think there's a reason his side of the camp leaked the
5-year no
the
NFL
5-year
deal.
no NFL deal, because basically it was, hey, if we sign this deal, we can't come to the NFL. Talk to us now. Because if we sign this deal, we can't come to the NFL.
I just think
Talk to
the
us now.
jobs that he's got in front of him, for the most part, that he would be a fit for.
Chargers.
You're talking Belichick. You're talking Ben Johnson. There's a lot. Every name that's up for a head coaching job has been mentioned with the Chargers.
The Chargers would hand him whatever he wants for that job.
Okay.
I think they would do the same thing with Belichick, though.
Right.
I think they would go after Jim first.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Just my belief. I think he's a good fit for Chicago. I mean, I don't know if they're going to get rid of
everything.
Eberflus.
I hear they're keeping him.
I
I
know,
was gonna say,
which is so.
Are they shit canning him?
I
Same
feel
thing
s-
with Atlanta.
I feel so bad for Justin Fields if he has to play under fucking Eberflus again.
Yep.
Like, you're not using that kid right. He's shown he can be a decent, good quarterback when he has the right play calls and he has the just stop running this kid's fucking career, would you? Just stop.
Or trade him.
That too. Trade him somewhere where they will actually use him properly.
I heard rumors of him in Atlanta. Like, dude, trade him to fucking Atlanta then.
Yes, absolutely. Well, even though they won't use him properly there either.
Yeah, right. So he's going to go from one bad situation to another.
I'm saying trade him assuming that Smith would go. If Smith stays,
Right.
then just keep the team you got now because you're doing a great job ruining that.
But yeah, I truly believe he's still going to be gone, Chris.
yeah,
Do
I'm
you?
with you. I'm with you on that one. I think he's already made.
I think
his play.
especially if they win the Natty.
Oh, I think if they win the Natty, he's gone for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I think
I
it's a
think
no-brainer.
checkbook's definitely open if he wins the Natty.
I
If
think
money's the deciding factor, then yeah, he
see.
absolutely could be gone.
I don't think it is. I think the deciding factor is him. So I think Michigan would welcome him back.
If
to a
he
certain
just
extent.
wins a Natty, just
Yeah.
take him to a national
So
championship game. Absolutely.
I think that it had swayed during the season where Michigan was okay with losing him. Now they're in the Natty. He wins the Natty. That sways back to Michigan saying, "Okay, come on back. We want you. We love you. We still love you. It's okay." But
I mean, it's hard to.
I think
it's hard to just say bye to a
absolutely.
coach who just won you a national
No, absolutely,
championship.
absolutely. I mean,
Especially one that's played for not played, but coached in a Super Bowl
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like
It's-
he's been on that level in
it's-
every level.
It's
he's
hard
coached.
to
But-
say nah. Bye.
But I think at this point they would welcome him back. I think they were not at that point halfway through the season, 3/4 of the way through the season. I think they were okay with not having him around.
I think when they showed that they could win with other coaches, they just kind of went, okay, like we can do this without him.
And I think the decision is basically on him at this point. It's whether he's going to be back or not. If he decides to come back, that's on him. And if he decides to leave, it's on him. And I think he's going to decide to leave, especially if they win the Natty. Because at that point, he accomplished what he came to Michigan to accomplish.
Okay.
And he won the Natty. And then I believe he's going back to the NFL. And there's a reason why he always entertains the NFL offers every single year.
oh yes, put the pressure on Michigan.
And he longs to go back to the NFL. He longs to win that Super Bowl that he was this close to winning, and his brother took it away from him.
Yeah.
And he wants to sit down at the family dinner table on Thanksgiving and not have his brother reach for the mashed potatoes with that giant fucking Super Bowl ring on his finger and rub it in.
And he might get number 2 this year.
Exactly. So I mean, I think he
It's hard
longs.
to argue that one.
I think he longs to go back to the NFL, in my opinion. And I think at this point, I think he will. And if they win the Natty, I think it's 1,000% he will.
I think for another reason, I think he's just sick of dealing with all this NCAA bullshit.
That's the other thing. If he comes back next year, he's going to face a year-long suspension. We know that. The NCAA is going to go after him. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's hard to say now that they're not going to because
They're going to try to suspend him for a year. They're not going to take anything away from the Michigan program. They're not going to take the title away. They're going to go after Harbaugh, and they're going to tell him, you got to sit for a year. You're suspended for a year.
Yeah.
Well, now if he comes back to Michigan, he still gets paid for that year, so he can take a year off and get paid for it. But his ego won't let him do that.
Yeah, that's
won't-
a good point.
His ego will not let him sit out a year because the NCAA smacked him on the hands and said, you can't come back in this year.
because you embarrassed us.
Right.
Because
Right.
you flat out embarrassed us because the NCAA is a fucking joke, as we all know.
I also love the talk leading up to the game yesterday of somebody hacking the iPads.
I saw that. Like,
I was
come
like,
on,
you
dude.
100% know who that team is. Like an unnamed team. There's
Yeah,
4
right.
teams playing,
Yeah, right.
and one of them's been accused of cheating the whole time.
Well, I mean, leading up to the game, I saw there was reports out there that Ohio State was doing the same fucking thing.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I mean,
It's like when Ohio State got busted for fucking selling memorabilia
Yeah.
for tattoos or whatever it was. Like, yeah, everybody fucking does it. You just got caught.
Exactly. And again, with the asterisk stuff, I don't. If they end up winning and they put an asterisk next to it, I don't fucking care.
I'll be honest with you. As a Michigan fan, I don't give a shit.
I couldn't care
I
less.
literally.
We watched the game. We know who won.
Yeah.
So
it's
not-
like
but-
Reggie Bush's Heisman year.
Right.
It's like Barry Bonds in the home run derby. Dude, you can put asterisks. You can take them away. You can do whatever the fuck you want to
Yeah,
these records.
like
they happen.
The Louisville Michigan national championship game, basketball game. Like Louisville got it taken away, but we all watched the game. We
Yep.
knew who won.
It fucking happened.
So 2 years ago is when I was back invested with Michigan, right? But last year's games to me were not. It just didn't have the same feel. I wasn't. I personally, I said I was invested again, and I truly wasn't invested again. This playoff game, I felt invested again, and I felt like I was truly back to backing Michigan, even with my kind of hatred of Jim Harbaugh. I really fucking sat down and was on the edge of my seat for that entire game. It's the first game like that I've watched since the Cleveland playoff game against Kansas City, and then the one before that with Pittsburgh. I love that feeling.
It's great, right?
That feeling is great. Whether your team wins or lose during the game, that feeling is awesome because it counts. It matters. You give a shit. Like it was awesome to feel like I was truly back. Even though I was, the feeling wasn't there last year. Right. This playoff game, the feeling was there, and I was like, man, fucking come on, let's pull this out. You
get your heart racing a little bit.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's the fun part of being a fan.
It's the fun part of sports.
Yep.
It's why we watch. It's why we enjoy it. It's why we love it. And if you don't have that feeling for a team, it's just sports. But when you have that feeling for a team and you're invested and you're watching that game and it's all on the line, it's awesome.
No, it is. It's great to have it. It also kind of is the shitty part of sports too.
It is
when you get when they lose and it's just like, well, fuck.
Yep.
You know,
your coach makes a bonehead play and then shit happens. It fucking
yeah.
sucks.
I mean, I guess it's better to have that feeling and I guess have your team lose than to just not care.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's good to root for a team that is playing for something to where you get that feeling, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I don't, even though I hate the franchise, I don't begrudge what the Lions are going to be doing because I love the fact that the fans, my friends who are still Lions fans, who I tried desperately to fucking, I tried to get them to break up with that bitch. She was worthless. She treated you like shit, but you stuck around, and she's finally being good to you.
Maybe she's starting to grow up a little bit.
Hey,
Starting to mature a little bit.
Yeah, she's maturing a little bit. You know, she's treating you right.
She's showing like 19 games worth of growing up.
Yeah.
We won't give them too much credit
it's
yet.
baby steps, man.
This has got to be
Baby
a
steps.
continuous thing before
It's-
I say they've grown up.
It's short-term growing up, but she's shown some signs of being mature, being more mature,
Baby
making the right decisions. You know what I mean? Sometimes. But I love the fact that Lions fans are going to get a home playoff game. They're going to get that feeling, even though they've had a couple playoff games in recent memory. That New Orleans game was a blowout.
Yeah.
The Dallas game, you had that feeling during the game, but it was like I don't think anybody truly thought they were really going to win that game going into it. I think Lions fans were even like, yeah, I mean, if they do, great, but I don't.
It's the day of my brother's wedding,
Oh,
so I didn't get to watch it whatsoever.
I think I'm happy for Lions fans getting to experience. They have a good team. They are going to have a home playoff game. They have a decent shot at winning a playoff game finally for a long time, and you get to watch that game with the same feeling that I was able to watch that game last night, and I watched the playoff games with Cleveland, and it's the best feeling of sports. Mm-hmm. It's why we watch.
No, it is. It's definitely nice to have that feeling. Over time, as a fan, I guess you kind of take that for granted a little bit, you know, because there's obviously many more things that are far more important than sports and if your team wins or loses.
We know that.
But, it's nice to have that feeling every once in a while watching your team, you're like, you actually, live and die with it,
Yeah.
Sometimes it matters what you do for the community.
Fucking Tom Goris. That guy. That guy's an idiot.
He invests billions in the community.
Cool.
To make more billions.
To make more billions, yes.
That's what I think is so funny about that one. I invest in the community. And not for charity. You do it to make more money.
You do it to make more money.
And the
Great.
shit he does for the community ain't that much.
No.
He built some basketball courts.
Great.
But, he's got people believing, He's got people believing in him.
Don't stop believing.
Don't stop. My least favorite song of all time.
I know that. That's why I said that. I'm aware you hate that song.
By far my least favorite song of all time.
The Texas-Washington game.
Good game.
Very good game.
You got to look at it, and with the 4 teams, did the committee get it right?
I personally still think
I still
think Georgia should have been in it.
Fair, and I still think Florida State should have been in. I don't care that they got boat raced. They were missing half their fucking team.
I wouldn't disagree with that either. So I believe Georgia and Florida State were actually more deserving than Alabama and Texas.
All right, that's fair. I can see that.
Because Georgia was defending back-to-back champions. They lost one fucking game in the last game of the season to Alabama. And I truly still think they're a better team than Alabama, even though they lost that game.
Next year it's not going to matter, obviously.
No. But I think they got it wrong. I think it should have been, even though Texas put up a hell of a game against Washington.
Yeah.
I still think it should have been Georgia. And
my only I guess argument to that is I feel like you should be a conference champion to get in.
see, and I don't necessarily feel that way. I think if you're going to base it off of wins and losses for the entire season, it's still just one game. That conference championship is still just one game.
No, I get that.
And if you're undefeated going into that one game, that's a one loss against another one loss.
Like I said, I understand what you're saying, but if you look at it, especially in Florida State's case, they didn't lose. And they won their conference. Georgia did lose. And they didn't win their conference. And, yeah, Georgia may be the better team by eye test.
Yeah.
And they kind of proved it. But, again, they're playing against like half of Florida State's full team.
But, so we go back to what the committee says all the time, right? The committee wants to put in they want to put in the 4 best teams. Right? If you're doing that, if you're really looking at it just saying we want to put in the 4 best teams, Georgia should have been in there.
Fair.
My
opinion. Again, I would have no issue if Georgia was
because and that's based off what the committee always says is we want to put the 4 best teams in there.
Right.
Okay, well you didn't, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And it's hard to do that when you literally only sat down for 1 week of the year to watch these fucking games, watch these teams.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay.
No, next year won't matter because,
yes,
if you want to have the conference champions get an automatic bid, that's great. And that, to me, that makes more sense now that you have more teams getting into it. Conference champions automatically get in, and then you rank them backwards of that to 12. And the 13th team doesn't get in, and if the 13th team has a bitch, and if their fans have a bitch, fuck off. There's 12 teams. It's like at that point in time, you're not good enough. Like you're 13, man. Like just stop arguing.
It's almost half the rating system.
Right, like stop.
Into the playoffs.
Yeah, like stop. So just stop. But with 4 teams, I think 5 and 6 had a little bit of a bitch this year.
I agree.
I think this was the one of the years where 5 and 6 definitely had a little bit of a bitch.
And one of the reasons why they're expanding. Mm-hmm. It's simple as that. Now, I think it should have been 8 instead of 12, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't hate on the 12. I think I like more college football, so it gives me more college football. So I'm like, okay, let's. And I want to see somebody,
right?
That's an 11, 12, 10 seed
like win the whole
get
thing.
in it and make a run. Like I want to see that. Give me March Madness football style. Give me a team getting hot at the end of the season, playing against somebody who has some injuries that you would have put in ahead of them in a 4-team or an 8-team playoff. Give me that team that's not injured that makes a run and wins it. Give me that team. I love that.
I'm just happy to see meaningful bowl games again.
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, the way it's going, these other bowl games, they're going to die.
Oh, yeah.
They're absolutely going to die.
They need to.
I don't disagree with you. I really
I mean,
don't.
haven't they already died? We just haven't had the coroner come in and declare them dead yet.
I mean, they're on life support. They really are.
They're a quick cash grab. That's all they are
that's
at
it.
this point.
That's literally all they are.
But
I mean,
next year you're going to get the fucking Duke Mayonnaise Bowl, and it's going to mean something because you're going to have Alabama playing Liberty,
Right.
and it's going to be the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I still maintain for these playoffs, I think every year the national championship game should be in the Rose Bowl. Like you just look at that setting, it's gorgeous.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Every year.
You listen to how they were going on and on and on about it yesterday.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Like how it goes like late third quarter going into the fourth, it starts to get dark. It's perfect.
And I understand they're going to put it at some massive stadium and do that whole thing.
Like
but,
obviously it's in Houston this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how Houston got it,
which
but okay.
yeah, I was going to say, how does Vegas not get that game?
I honestly don't know, but I personally think it should be in the Rose Bowl every year. Like everybody's playing. It's the road to the Rose Bowl, and I'd be cool with that because I think that's what it should be. But that's obviously not going to happen because there's too much money to be made by these other stadiums and those other bowls that they're obviously going to want their piece of it and a national championship game.
It'll at least be a semifinal, though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But no, it's just you just watch it like that opening kickoff and like they'll show it like from above. It's gorgeous. That's a bucket list thing. I would love to go see. I don't even care who plays.
just go to the
Like my buddy,
Rose Bowl.
my buddy Jeremy. He went.
Yeah.
He was there.
Oh, nice.
Yesterday. It's like that's awesome, man. I'm glad you got to do that, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That'd be fucking incredible to go to.
I mean, we've been doing the college football national championship game. It's a great experience. It wasn't the Rose Bowl, but it was still pretty fucking
It was
cool.
still pretty fucking awesome.
So,
Yeah, it was great.
you know what else is pretty fucking awesome?
Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank.
That's right. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
Happy Chinooka.
Nice. Nice, that's good.
I just had to bring mine up on my phone because my computer died and I didn't bring my charger.
Oh, great.
I was like, shit, I better be able to grab it off my phone.
So do we Texas, Washington, the better team won. I think Washington got underestimated all fucking year.
Because they play in the Pac-12.
And I
The
think
West Coast teams always get underrated,
and I
unless it was USC.
right. And I think they're deserving of being there though.
Absolutely.
They've absolutely put in the work and done everything. And I'll be honest with you, Penix just scared the shit out of Michigan fans right now.
Yep.
That dude makes throws that there's like 5% of quarterbacks that can make some of those throws he makes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's good.
He is good.
I didn't watch the game, but I watched some of the highlights. And
He
for not watching him the whole season, I was fucking impressed.
The dude can ball.
no, I have watched him quite a bit, and then he obviously played for Indiana.
Yep.
Right.
And he even made throws at Indiana. They didn't have a team around him, but he made some throws at Indiana that made you look and go,
Oh.
"Damn,
Oh.
wow!" But with receivers on the Washington team and with that team having players, now he's showing what he really is, and that dude's fucking good. And Michigan's got the defense. And I'm not saying that the team should be scared, but Michigan fans might want to be a little bit worried about this game here. It's not a for sure done deal, man.
And he can
Washington's
run, too.
good, right?
And I mean, yeah, yesterday they were able to, I guess, shut down a running quarterback for most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's never exactly been Michigan's strong suit, is
No.
shutting down running quarterbacks.
They
So-
blitzed a lot yesterday, and they
did.
were able to get home on them. They had a lot of disguised blitzes where they would loop around and they would have delayed blitzes. They did really well yesterday with disguising their blitzes and delaying them and getting to them. They're going to have to do the same thing with Washington.
I was going to say, I think it's going to be one of the biggest keys in that game is if they can actually get to Washington's quarterback.
Yep.
If they can't,
If he has time to throw, it's going to be a long game.
Oh, yeah. He's going to pick them apart 100%.
Yep.
How's Washington's O-line, though?
And that's the thing. You watched it last night. Didn't look very great to me.
They looked okay to me last night. They gave up some pressures on Penix, but again, if you just give up pressures on Penix, he's still going to pick you apart. Like he can throw under pressure. You have to get home.
Yeah,
like you've got to.
You can't
get
over
home.
pursue.
No, you've got to get home, and you've got to stay your gaps. You can't open the gaps. You have to stay in your lanes.
Yep,
get home.
Because
if not, he will. Yeah, he will hurt you. So
he'll basically do the opposite of what Milroe did yesterday. He'll actually run. He'll take off. Milroe didn't do that.
Milroe just panicked.
Yeah, he looked like the spotlight was a little bit too bright for him.
Yes. But
which the kid in the future, if he can get rid of that stage fright.
Oh, listen,
I think he's fucking incredible.
I think he's going to be a very, very good quarterback. I think he's got all the tools. He's a hell of an athlete. It just
I think it was too much for him.
Right. I think it was just a too big of a stage for him right now. That's all.
Like I think next year he'll be outstanding.
Yeah,
that's just kind of where
I don't disagree.
So, do you want to get into it now?
That's up to you guys. Is there what are we going to talk about now?
I don't know. There was a game on Saturday night. Maybe you caught it. I don't know.
Let's cut the
Saturday
bullshit.
night.
The refs fucked Detroit again. Look at him. You do it a little.
Okay. Who wants to lead off the conversation?
I think we've already had the conversation. I think we're waiting on hearing
So,
what you have to say
hold on,
about it.
Let's read. I want to read this one. Jeremy just chimed in. Jeremy says, I think I'm not as upset as most Lions fans because I went into that game expecting a beatdown and instead seen a competitive game and the defense actually looked like a professional team. And Eric chimes in. What's up, Eric? Glad you're joining in. He says, yes, tell him, Frank.
Eric, you know what my real opinion is, bud.
Okay.
Well, again, according to people on Twitter, after I posted when I posted after the game, yeah, they were not exactly happy with my thoughts on it. So, and that's fine. If you want to get that angry about it,
okay,
to where you're telling me to go fuck myself and
I tell you to go fuck yourself all the time.
Exactly. You're doing that? Cool, man. Like you take this shit way too serious.
Right.
Like, good for you.
All
man.
right. So do we want to dissect it? I know you've overly dissected it, Frank, at this point. I haven't.
Yeah. No, and that's why
but
I said.
But I think we kind of have to dissect this on the show a little bit, right?
You want to dissect it as a group.
Right. So what happened on Saturday night? The Lions scored and could either tie it or take the lead. They could tie it with an extra point, take the lead with a 2-point conversion. The Lions played a little trickery, had 3 offensive linemen go to the referee to pretend to check in. Only one of them did. By all accounts, the referee got it wrong. The guy that checked in was 68.
Yeah.
The guy that they announced checked in was 70. And the guy that the referee announced to the defense and on the loudspeaker was 70. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And then 68 caught the football, and a penalty was thrown. Penalty flag was thrown. 2 of them, actually. One of them for the fact that 70 lined up in an ineligible position because he reported as eligible, which he didn't. And then the other one because an ineligible player that didn't report, who was actually the eligible one, caught it for a touchdown. Threw the flag.
Yes.
Okay. Lions fans pissed off. Refs screwed them. Refs want Dallas to win. Refs are in Dallas's favor. Okay.
Obviously.
Right?
Detroit versus everybody.
Detroit versus everybody. Backs him up to the 7. 5-yard penalty from the 2. Dan Gamble, you got to know when to hold him.
We're getting Joe singing.
Decides to double down and still go for 2 from the 7. Okay, they don't get it. But wait.
There's more.
But wait, there's more.
Call now.
There's a flag.
We'll throw in a rotisserie fry.
We'll do another stupid thing for free.
So there's a flag. What happens now? Oh, Detroit didn't get the 2-point conversion this time, but there's a flag. Who's the flag on this time? Micah Parsons, offsides. Okay, they put him on the 4. What do you do then? At this point in time, you think you would go, well, I probably should have kicked the extra point on the 7-yard line. Now that I get another fucking chance on the 4-yard line, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kick the extra point this time and take it into overtime.
No, 29 to 250.
Yeah, but instead we go for 2
Mr.
again.
Allens.
Instead we go for 2 again. And you don't get it because you called an out route with Jared Goff and your third string tight end. Okay. Dissecting backwards, okay? Before Detroit got the ball back, were Lions fans upset about that penalty call that was a trip on Dallas? That wasn't actually a trip on Dallas. It was actually Aiden Hutchinson.
It was actually not a trip on anybody because he didn't trip anyone.
Well, he
stuck tried to.
Right. That's a penalty, though. If you try to, it's a penalty.
From what everybody on national television was saying today, it should not have been a call, period, because he didn't actually trip anyone.
So either way, that went against Dallas.
Right.
So the ref fucked up then. If the ref doesn't fuck up then, it's 2nd and 3 in Detroit's end. Dallas never gives Detroit the ball back again. Doesn't happen.
Right.
So that penalty call, if the refs are in favor of Dallas and want Dallas to win because they took your 2 points away from you because the ref genuinely fucked up and is an idiot, let's call it what it is. He genuinely fucked up and he's a moron. But Detroit wouldn't have had the ball back if he didn't fuck up already and give you a call. So is it really against Detroit? Is it really screwing Detroit? Or is the ref just a fucking idiot in the first place? The ref's a fucking idiot.
It's a mass scale fucking of Detroit. So the only reason the refs did call that tripping was to get Detroit the ball back just so they could fuck them.
We have a winner.
I'm just going typical Lions fan right now. Please don't hold any of this shit against me.
I love it. That was a great comeback.
Jeremy says, Goff threw at his ankle. Yeah, he did, but even if he completes it, I don't know that he makes it to the end zone anyways.
No, because he's getting tackled from behind at that point.
Yeah,
he's either going out of bounds or he's falling towards the field.
I mean, he has a better chance of making it if he doesn't throw it at
He
his
does,
ankles.
but again, I don't necessarily think he makes it to the end zone.
But when have you ever seen Goff throw a really great out route?
College, maybe?
Never.
Okay, I rest my case. Lady friend says, Frank, that was great. Eric says,
It really was.
Eric says, I do. I feel the same. Still not happy, but should have kicked after the penalty. Yes,
Yeah.
Eric.
And that's
yes.
exactly it, Eric.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
And I'll even double down on the kicking thing. And maybe you take the 3 points earlier in the fucking game when...
and you don't have to worry about it.
Right. And then you're up by 2 at that point. Or you're up by... I'm trying to do the math in my head. You're down by 1. So all you got to do is kick a field goal at that point and you go up.
But the refs fucked up. Let's get that out of the way.
Yes.
So they fucked up twice.
And obviously, we've bashed refereeing
On this show,
So much.
on this show, I think we bash them every week.
because they deserve it. It's a thing. Every week.
Deservedly
Yeah.
so. We
It's a
bash
thing
them every week in almost every game,
Yep.
almost every team. Like they're not good. It's a problem, right?
They're just not the reason you didn't win that game.
And this is where I hit it, right? So we just dissected part of that. They threw a flag on Dallas. It shouldn't be a flag too. It's the only reason that Detroit got the ball back. So you can't say it was just like the refs were just out to get Detroit, or else they would have never thrown that flag on Dallas. That wasn't actually a penalty, and they would have never gave Detroit the ball back. Period. It just game would have been over.
Right.
So let's get that out of the way. Let's fast forward to where you get the 2-point conversion and the penalty's called because they checked the wrong guy in. Okay, if you listen to it, he actually did announce 70.
Yeah.
Right?
He points at 70. He announces 70.
So despite the fact that 68 and 58 were standing next to him, and 70's running in from the sideline, not even next to him, he's running in from the sideline.
70 and the ref pass each other, like, just briefly.
Barely.
Not enough for 70 to report.
Barely. Unless he's running in going like this.
Right.
Like that.
But he's coming from behind the ref.
Right, exactly. And the ref turns around to see him for like a second.
He literally has to be running going, 70! 70's reporting!
So, like, the refs fucked up. Okay, it happens. It happens. It's a bad call. They fucked up. You get the 2-point conversion taken away from you. Lions fans are going to say, well, they scored. Well, maybe they don't score if he reports the correct fucking guy as being eligible. Maybe Dallas actually covers the fucking dude that they announced as actually being eligible 68. They didn't cover 68 at all, and they were still kind of close to making the play on him.
And if you look at the DB at that point, he's kind of looking at him like, why the fuck is he even back here?
Because they announced 70 was eligible,
Right.
not 68. So if they actually announced the right guy is eligible, that play might not actually happen. That 2-point conversion might actually not actually happen and succeed. So there's another
Now,
point.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this also. If Decker doesn't qualify himself as a receiver, shouldn't he have technically been an ineligible man downfield?
He should have been an ineligible man downfield, and he should have been covered up by the wide receiver on the outside. But he wasn't covered up by him because they wanted him to be ineligible.
Right.
But, yes, that was also a penalty because he wasn't covered up by an eligible receiver. So, yes, there was like 3 penalty flags on that play based on the referee's error.
Right.
Now, get past that. Okay, sucks. 2-point conversion happened. You got it. You thought you won. If they announce the right guy eligible, maybe it doesn't happen because maybe they actually cover him. Ifs, ands, buts, whatever. Let's go with what happened, right? Ref fucked up, took the 2-point conversion away. You have it on the 7-yard line. You're 1 point away from going into overtime. You have the momentum. You're playing. At that point, you're still playing for a 1 seed. A possibility of a 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
You kick the extra point. Kick the extra point. Go to overtime. What the fuck are you doing? And then you get another chance, and you still don't kick the extra point, man. Lions fans, your coach lost you that game. Because if he kicks the extra point after that bad call, you still have a chance to go into overtime and win. Actually, you still have a chance to give Dallas the ball back with 30-some seconds left. 23 seconds left. And the way CeeDee Lamb's been burning you, they might get down close enough to get a fucking 50-yard field goal anyway. That's besides the point.
With a kicker who doesn't miss.
With a kicker who hasn't missed all year.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the 1 point nobody's making. And that is that Derek Barnes had an opportunity to shift that game by 9 points. Derek Barnes tackles Dak in the fucking end zone like he should have at the beginning of the game.
Oh, instead of
CeeDee Lamb becoming,
instead of shoulder checking him?
Yeah. Not even shoulder checking him. He gave him a little forearm
And see,
shiver.
this right here, this is where all these fucking flags is ruining the game.
It's where all the roughing the passer calls come in.
It's what I respect about last night's game.
You see
they
it.
let him fucking play.
Exactly. You see it, and you're in your mind, you're like, if I hit him, I'm probably going to get flagged for this. And it's a joke. It's an absolute disgrace.
Well, Jeremy just says they weren't going to be the number 1 seed anyway because San Francisco schedule is weak for the last 2 games. Okay, but you don't know that. At this point in time as Detroit, and you know in the NFL, anything happens, right? I mean,
And they have the Rams this week. That's not exactly a cakewalk.
So you're still at that point eligible for the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed, right? So
Which, had you won that game, you would now have.
Yeah.
Exactly. So even if you don't get the number 1 seed, you still are able to up your seeding in the playoffs, which benefits you long term. You gotta, once that play gets taken away from you, you gotta take your emotions out of it. And I think Dan Campbell was super emotional, very angry, very pissed off, and I think his emotions got the best of him. And I think he basically was like, "Fuck you, we're going for it again." Flag got thrown after they didn't succeed the second time, and he goes, "You know what? Fuck you, I'm doing it again." And I think his emotions got the best of him. And I think he was hot-headed, and I think if he were to admit it now, the truth, I really truly believe to rewind it to get the better seed, I think he would do something different. Now, that's not really what he said today. But
yeah, he insisted that he'd still do the exact same thing.
Which to me is
anywhere up to the 10-yard line.
And to me, if I'm a fan of a team and my coach says that at this point in time, emotions taken out of it, you're not in the middle of the game, you're not emotional, you're backing off, and you look at it from the outside perspective, and you still say, I would have went for it 5 times in a row from within the 10-yard line. I think you're not fit to coach a fucking NFL team.
It's a huge red flag to me.
It's a huge red flag.
Like, I know you believe in your team, and I know you think you can do it, and I know you're backing your guys.
But you got to be smart.
You got to be smart about it, because at a certain point, you're going to do something like this again, and then your team's going to question your decision making, and they're going to quit on you. because that's what happens.
Jeremy says,
Once the team starts questioning your decision making, it's over. It's over.
yeah. Well, and I don't think it's at that point yet. But
I don't
more,
either.
But more decisions like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he
that's
because you know he's going to do something like that again.
Jeremy says tried 3 times to bite those kneecaps. They had no teeth. They had no teeth.
Yeah, because you know he's going to try something like that again.
Oh, 100%.
So listen,
I'll
and
probably try it next week.
I think the 3 of us have all admitted. I don't know if we've admitted on the show. Probably have. We admitted it to each other today. I respect Dan Campbell at this point.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
So
He's earned it.
I thought he was a clown at first. I still think he has clown tendencies.
Yes.
I think he has professional wrestler tendencies.
Yes.
If you smell.
He's
Dude,
like
my mom loves him.
So does mine.
I don't know. She loves Dan Campbell.
My cousin called him hot.
I didn't get that,
Like,
but she loves Dan.
yeah.
She loves Dan Campbell. It's crazy.
You should ask your mom if she thinks he's hot.
I don't want to know that.
We were sitting there around Christmas dinner, and I was making a comment about the Lions because my aunt out of nowhere decided to talk sports for the first time in 36 years of me being here. And my cousin goes, "Yeah, he's hot." I was like, "Are we looking at the same person?"
With I respect him now because, listen, he is a gambler, right? He's Dan Gamble. He's not Dan Campbell. He's Dan Gamble. And he gambles. And he's that guy. And he's going to continue to be that guy. Great.
And more often than not, it's working out for him right now.
But you have to also play smart sometimes. If in a situation where you gamble and it works, but then it doesn't work because you had a bad call going against you, you got to regroup and say, all right, what's smart for my team right now?
Yeah.
We caught him off guard with that one. We scored it. It got taken away. Do we catch him off guard again? No, because, we don't. Let's be smart and do the smart thing and kick the extra point and go into overtime.
And you were playing, and this is saying nothing against the fake punt. The fake punt was well planned. It was well executed. They did a great job with it. But the way that team was playing, they didn't need gimmicky bullshit to win that game.
No, they didn't. They absolutely did. Their defense, that's probably the best their defense has looked all year, except the CD Lamb touchdown.
Well, listen, except for CeeDee Lamb the whole game. Okay,
Fair.
CeeDee Lamb had a career game, but he's the only guy that was doing anything because Detroit's defense was shutting everybody else down.
Yep.
Right.
So,
and it was really on Sutton at that point, who had a bad game, who was letting Lamb run all over the fucking field. But
to me, if Detroit kicks that extra point, they win that game in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I truly believe that.
I believe that 100%. Because again, we talked about, they had the momentum.
Absolutely.
Or you just tackle the guy in the end zone, get the safety. The CD Lamb play never happens because it's the same play, and then we're talking completely different situation. But
that's true.
Lady friend says Dan Campbell is like Michael Strahan to me. He has a punchable face. Dude, her hatred for Michael Strahan is like irrational. It really is.
I've heard he's like the nicest guy, though.
Time out. Chris just said somebody's hatred for a human being is irrational.
Yeah. That should absolutely tell you something.
Chris's hatred for everybody is usually irrational.
Like, that should absolutely tell you something. Like, how irrational her hatred for Michael Strahan is.
Allison, you're a psycho because you're a psychopath. Because if Chris is questioning your irrational anger towards a human being, you're fucked up. Wow. I love that. That's so great.
Like, yeah, it's.
I didn't want to be the one to say it, but if you're going to bring it up, yeah,
it's quite something.
As was discussed today by a few people, I am the one that will typically say things that most people wouldn't. I'm okay with it. I'm that one I couldn't let pass. I'm like, wait a second, are you really saying somebody's hatred is irrational?
Yeah, but I say something, then he gets angry, and then I'm gone for another year.
Jeremy says you can't hate the Gap.
Hey, talk to Lady Friend about that one.
The store or Strahan's teeth? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Yeah. So that is my thoughts on that. And the key thought that Chris shared in the group text that I politely bowed out of in all this was the penalty call on Dallas before that actually gave Detroit the ball back. Mm-hmm. If that penalty call against Dallas doesn't happen, they don't have the chance to fuck you over, and they don't give you the ball back, and it's nothing happens there. So saying that the refs were genuinely out to fuck you in that situation is so asinine
they fuck them to fuck you. Like I told you, that's the way it went.
Right, but that is such, and I know you're joking, but that is such an asinine way to think. Like, to look at it and go, well, that call doesn't matter now. They did that on purpose to fuck Detroit. Well, if they were purposely fucking you there, they would have purposely not fucked Dallas there and gave you the ball back. So it's just so irrational. To me, Lions fans are still, most of them, not you.
No, I know.
When I say Lions fans, I feel like it's the
99% of the time
majority,
it doesn't include me.
Right, the majority of Lions fans, the ones who are so outraged over this, they're not fully accepting that they have a good team anymore.
Right.
And that the league is now out to screw them. You have found throughout this season and throughout the ending of last season that if you have a good team, you can overcome refs' bad calls. Mm-hmm. Now, when you let it fuck you over, like not kicking the extra point afterwards, you let it fuck you over, then you're going to say, oh, well, the refs cost us the game. It was all the refs' fault. Meanwhile, there was like 3 or 4 other fucking things in that game, which are a reason why you were in that position in the first place. The least of which is your fucking coach chose not to kick the extra point.
Now, this was roundabout what my tweet said after the game. And as you just said, irrational Lions fans. But go fuck yourself, etc. Whatever. And this is why, this is why I make fun of you guys. This is exactly why I make fun of you guys. Because you do shit like that.
You never hear a winning franchise like Baltimore's fans, San Francisco's fans, New England Patriots fans. Like, we're Patriots fans. I still root for the Patriots, even though they fucking blow now. Was there ever a time where, as a Patriots fan, you're like, oh, the refs cost us a game?
No.
Was
Patriots cost themselves the game plenty enough right now.
Was there bad calls against the Patriots?
There's been bad calls in every fucking, all the way down to junior college games.
Okay.
I've seen bad calls.
So again, to let
it's lazy at this point.
It's lazy as the fan base.
This is literally what we said.
Yes, as the fan base, I think it's a cop out.
Yeah,
that you can be upset at the call.
I said it was
yes.
It's lame and tired to blame officiating for your loss.
That's a perfect way to put it.
It's tired. Give it up, man.
And I'll take a shot at my generation, younger generations. It's also an inability to accept responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's something that's big anymore in these younger generations is sometimes you got to take the blame yourself. Sometimes you just didn't do shit to win the game. Sometimes you didn't make the right call to win the game. Now, that's the one thing I respect about Dan Campbell in the interview he had earlier. He owned the fact that he made that decision.
I do, and I want to say that too because I agree. I've dogged him on the show, and I want to come out and say again, I have respect for the man at this point. I think he has clownish tendencies, and I think
he's like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. He's more of a serious version, but he's still kind of a clown.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, no, perfect way to put it. But I do respect him with one being who he is, right? The guy is who he is, whether he's clownish sometimes or not.
Right.
The guy is who he is and he owns it. But he also, in the interview earlier that we're discussing, he flat out came out and said, "Go ahead, guys, say it. Say what you want to say.
Call me a fucking
Go
idiot,
ahead and say
essentially."
it. And he said it several times because they asked the question in a way that was polite. And they were trying to get to the point.
They gave you the radio version of the question.
And basically, Dan was like, he goes, no, say it. I want both of you to say it. Say what you want to say it. And the one guy said, okay, I think it was a very, not in this many words, but
right.
Basically said, I think it was a stupid ass call to go for it from the 7-yard line, to go for it again. And Dan Campbell just said, okay. And that was it. But I respect the fact that he was on there. He knew. He walked head on in to the storm of what decision he made, and he wasn't an asshole about it. Reckless. Eric said it was reckless. Yes, that's what he said.
Now,
reckless is the exact word he said. You're right.
Now I saw a certain Detroit media personality tweet after that was the most egregiously bad decision in Detroit Lions history.
Can we rhyme the person's name?
Probably not. No. It's not who you think it is.
No. I want to know who it is. So if you can rhyme the name instead of saying the exact name.
Give me a minute. I can tell you it works for Fox 2.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Anyways, so he tweeted out that was egregiously the most egregious call by a coach in Lions history.
Yeah, maybe like
And I
in
said,
the last year
and I
a half.
said, I go, really? That's the most egregious one? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't know, maybe taking the wind is more egregious than that. I mean, there's so many other ones that supersede that. No, that's I don't even know if that cracks the top 10 of egregiously bad coaching decisions.
I think as far as actual meaningful decisions go, it's definitely up there. But if we're talking overall, no, not a chance.
I'm just like, no. There's been so many just, I don't know. I think there's far worse than that one.
I think there's been far worse. I think I've seen far worse calls in other games. Was that a fucking horrible call? Yeah. It was. But not even just a call. I think it was a horrible mistake. So there's been bad calls.
Right.
Right. This to me is not a call. This to me was a mistake that happened from the beginning of that play when it first started where they reported. The referee made a huge error in assuming.
No, I'm talking about the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.
So am I.
Like the actual.
Well, so the call itself stems from the reporting that he got wrong. Right. So, like, for me, it's more of a situation that the ref got wrong completely,
Right.
as opposed to just a blown call.
I think he was more bitching about that they did it a second and a third time. That's, I think, what he was saying was egregious about it. Like, why he was bashing Dan Campbell, basically, is what he was doing.
Oh, I thought you were saying.
No, it wasn't about the call itself.
Okay, I misunderstood.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, when you initially said it, I was thinking the same thing.
Fair enough.
Okay, so no, it was the play calling by Dan Campbell.
Yes.
Okay, so I wouldn't say the most egregious. I would say it's up there because you were still fighting for the first and second seed.
Drafting Pettigrew was the worst decision.
I don't know about that. They drafted Gosner Cherilus.
Well played,
Oh,
well played,
God,
Jeremy.
that
Well
is
played.
great.
Well played. That's a good one.
That was fantastic.
In the first round.
If we take a fucking tight end, I quit.
I mean, Mike Williams? No.
Mike Williams had some decent games for them.
Javid Best?
Charles
concussion case?
Rogers.
Yeah, Charles
Rogers.
Charles. I think the thing that we take out of this though is
You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em.
like you have to make a better call there, man.
Yeah, for real. And one last thing I got on the topic. Props to whoever sent the construction crew over to Dan Campbell's house the next morning.
Yeah, what was that all like? Who? Like
somebody leaked his address, so somebody sent a whole bunch of contractors over there the next morning.
That is fucking great.
Like, I'm a big fan of pranks like that. I'm an even bigger fan of a prank like that when it doesn't hurt anyone. So just to make him wake up after that loss to a fucking construction crew being there.
Hey, we're gonna work on your
I
house.
would be so fucking pissed if that was me.
I mean, you thought he was pissed off the night before,
right?
Oh. Yeah, I caught wind of that. I'm like, wait, is this real? Did this actually happen?
That's fantastic.
That was fantastic.
You know what's also fantastic?
The Joe Wrights?
Yes.
All right. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 4 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, Shane Wilson, and Alex DeRocher a call today. Phone number is 248-535-4750 to fulfill all your real estate needs.
No, I sound drunk.
A little bit.
Nice. That was a good.
Been trying to read all these giant words fucking crammed in.
That was a good job for that one. But
anything else, boys? Do we want to discuss any potential playoff implications for this next week for NFL or anything?
I mean, other than the Bills, if they win against the Dolphins, they're in, and if they lose, they're out. I guess with unless they get help from a bunch of different teams, which is absurd to me, but that's just the way it goes. They dug this hole, and live with the consequences.
Do you think Buffalo? I know we're getting into the picks, but do you think Buffalo wins this game in Miami? No. Are you just being pessimistic, or do you really not?
No,
think they will?
The last 2 weeks shows me no, they will not win that game. They
struggled against New England.
And I get it. It's a Belichick defense. I understand that. But you were at home, and you struggled mightily. Your offense looked like shit. Like, you're not even using Stephon Diggs anymore. like at all.
Literally, it's like he doesn't play for the team.
Right. Now I know
In
that
fairness, they're not really using James Cook either.
That's true.
They used him the one game, and then they were like, "Nah, that worked too good."
Right. That's kind of my point. And I know the Dolphins have a lot of injuries. I get it. But I know Josh Allen's got a really good record against the Dolphins. I don't see it, man. You've done what you could do to get into the position you're in, coming basically because you dug your own grave. But I don't know how long that lasts. I really don't.
Is it Baltimore's Super Bowl to lose?
At this point, yes. I mean, when you smack around like a few of the best teams in football, yeah, I think you've earned that.
Yeah,
and I think it's Lamar's MVP to lose too.
I think after that game, yes.
Yeah.
I personally look at his stats, and I was questioning, like, I think CMC still should get it, right? But CMC got hurt.
Yep.
He played the game of his life, 5 fucking touchdowns, and I'm like, I really do. I think he's going to get the MVP again.
He was really quarterbacky.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No.
Oh, look it up.
I will, because that's a fucking weird word.
It was some woman on Fox Sports Radio. They were talking about Lamar, and she's like, I just want my quarterbacks to be more quarterbacky. She literally said this.
So she doesn't want them running as much,
or it's because he's black.
Well, she wants him to be
depending on which way.
I was getting at that by asking the question.
Yes, more quarterbacky.
But she literally said this. And after that game, was that quarterbacky enough for you? Was that he had a perfect passer rating? Those are 5 touchdowns. Those are over 300 yards. Was that quarterbacky enough for you?
I think.
I'm sorry. You say something stupid like that.
That's dumb.
You should be fired. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. Quarterbacky? Really?
That's a made up
word.
word.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
More quarterback.
I've never heard that in my life.
I'm definitely going to use it going forward.
Oh, he was really quarterbacky that day.
Yeah. I think it is his to lose.
Yes.
He was very quarterbacky. I think he's going to be more quarterbacky in the playoffs.
And this is we kind of touched on this before the show. Do you rest him against the Steelers this week?
I do.
Fair. And again,
I might play him for a quarter, maybe a half,
and they've done
and
this,
then take him out.
They did this before, and then went to the playoffs and got dump trucked.
So
I also had Brad Allen's crew reffing that game.
I saw that.
I would play. I'm not a big fan of completely resting players, right?
I think you got to have a rhythm. And I know you.
I agree.
Especially in the NFL, I know there's bumps and bruises.
So
I get it.
If I have a player, if I'm San Francisco, CMC doesn't see the field.
Yep, you're going exactly where I was going to go with it.
No, you've already wrapped up number 1.
Okay, but so has Baltimore, right?
No, I agree with you.
So certain guys don't see the field.
Right.
The rest of them, no, you're playing about a half.
Maybe do it like a I don't want to say an exhibition game, but kind of how it would be,
exactly.
like the third exhibition game of the season. You get your dress rehearsal, whatever.
Yes.
So you don't get completely out
So
of
you
rhythm.
don't get completely out of rhythm. You don't sit completely.
Because that's the thing with Baltimore and San Francisco. If you rest your guys, they're essentially going to have 3 weeks off.
But some of the players, again, perfect example is San Francisco and CMC. He already got banged up last game. You sat him because you didn't need him. You knew you really didn't need him. So it's not like his injury was that bad.
Right.
You just kind of pulled him out and went, no, we're good, man. You just take a rest.
I
don't play him. I play other players for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I just look at it with, again, if you're going to essentially have 3 weeks off. You've seen it with preseason. These guys don't play in preseason. And they look like shit that first game.
Jeremy says the Eagles are a joke.
The Eagles are a joke.
The Eagles have very bad problems, and it went even further downhill when they made Matt Patricia the defensive coordinator.
Oh my God,
the defensive play caller.
I don't know how any team lets him anywhere near it.
He's a cancer.
Yeah,
that dude has loser written all over him. I mean, anything he touches in the NFL now is just
turns to complete shit,
bro. Ever since that Super Bowl where his defense got outscored by Philadelphia, and I laughed my ass off because he was the Lions' next head coach, and I went, "Congratulations, guys!" And I got, of course, completely destroyed.
Of course,
he's going to be great. He's going to be great. He's going to be great. Okay,
he's got a pencil in his ear and everything.
He was a rocket scientist.
Rocket
How are
science.
we supposed to know?
How are we supposed to know?
But I mean, ever since then, he's like that dude has been an abomination for everything he's done.
Look at it this way. A fucking rocket scientist couldn't figure out the Detroit Lions, but this fucking guy did.
I mean,
But
you're not wrong.
But a WWF Vince McMahon cast off
Randy
figures it
Savage figured it out.
Hey, brother.
I mean, Frank, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong on that.
How do you feel about Buffalo's chances going into the playoffs?
If they make it,
I want to talk about how do you feel about their chances to make it in the playoffs and to make a run? I want to talk about all of our teams here because I want to get Frank's opinion on some of his.
To make it, I say 40-60 with 60% that they don't make it. However, if they do make it, I think it's going to be a problem for somebody.
Jeremy says in response to Chris asking, what does it mean as far as quarterbacking? He goes, nobody knows, but it's provocative. It gets the people going.
I don't Jeremy, you are on a fucking roll today, dude.
And you might get this. I don't like being titillated.
I don't know, but that sounded great.
I love it. Sorry, man. Go ahead. Yeah, so 60-40 to make it. Or 40-60 to make it.
40-60 to make it, 60 that they don't. However, I think if they get in, they're going to be a problem for somebody.
I think if they continue with the run game the way they did for a few games there, I think if they get back to that, they're going to be a problem for somebody. Their defense is playing much better.
Yep.
Chris, I'm like you though. I actually think Miami does win this game.
I do too.
They're another team that needs to be worried though. They just lost 2 defensive linemen for the year. One of them, Bradley Chubb, who was basically the main guy on that defensive line.
At least the one that was left.
Right. So I mean, like. And you've got some injuries on the offense, too. You got Jalen Waddle's a little bit banged up. Tyreek Hill's been banged up. Yeah. Mostert was banged up. Ashan is kind of always dealing with an injury, I guess, throughout this season.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
He's so I'd be a little worried if I was Miami and a Miami fan, but I personally think that they right the ship just a little bit this week, and I think they do beat Buffalo at home to lock up that.
And especially,
to lock up that
I'm sure they'll have a chip on their shoulder from their trip to Buffalo when they got pasted.
Yeah, and I not saying that they've been very good all year. They've had ups and downs, and they've had bad games, right?
Yeah.
But I think
now,
Frank, I think you and I are in the same boat with this one. I like McDaniels.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good head coach, and I think he finds a way to get them prepared for this game in a way that they pull out the victory and win the division because. If not, this will be one of the bigger collapses in recent memory of a team that just was had it all going for them and just went.
Now, do you think that already having locked up a playoff spot has any effect on this game at all for Miami?
No,
I don't.
I think they play for the division.
Okay.
I think now if they were a team that has made the playoffs a bunch of years in a row and this is just another playoff run for them.
Yeah,
maybe.
Okay.
No, I think this is playoff game number 1. For them.
For them, they want that division.
I honestly, I don't disagree with you.
Dolphins are like Detroit, need a defensive coordinator. No, the Dolphins are not like Detroit. Dolphins need a defense and a defensive coordinator. The Detroit has some defensive players. They more need a defensive coordinator that's going to make the right play calls, in my opinion. And I think Frank has been beating that drum all year.
I'm not going to say nothing about that because for once in my life, I am absolutely satisfied with the way the defense played.
For one game.
So I'm going to leave it alone for 1 week.
Frank, to your teams. So we'll start out with Detroit.
Yes.
How do you feel after watching that Dallas game, knowing that you have a good team?
Fuck yeah.
And you just kept Dallas down to scoring 20 points at home when they were averaging 40-some points at home all year. How do you feel about their chances in the playoffs as the 3rd seed going into the playoffs? How do you feel?
If they can play like they did last week against Dallas, I see no reason they can't go to an NFC championship. Do I think they'll do it? No, because I don't see that consistency happening from this team. But if they can, I absolutely could see an NFC championship.
But you feel they have it in them.
Yeah.
And I would agree with you. I think what I saw them play in Dallas, they have it in them. If they can play like that a couple games in a row, I think they have it in them that they can make a run. Am I on board for Matt Stafford coming into Detroit and beating them at home? I sign me the fuck up because I'm going to be sitting at home, probably butt ass naked, watching that game, just in my glory, watching Matt Stafford beat the shit out of Detroit in Detroit in a playoff game.
Literally going to be the NFL playoff version
It's
of the
gonna be
Christmas
fantastic.
Carol. You've got to get rid of the ghost of Christmas Past first.
I sign me up for all of it. Give me all of Matt Stafford coming back to Detroit and playing a playoff game in Detroit.
I am
as a Ram.
And then I want to know how long it takes people to still cry that he needs to go into the Ring of Honor.
I want to know how many of them motherfuckers go to that game wearing the
Rams?
split
Oh,
Rams
God.
fucking Lions jersey. You douche nozzles. I want to see that one.
I think you'd see a lot of that.
You jackasses.
I do think you could see a fair amount of that.
And I will laugh my ass off at every one of those dumbass motherfuckers. Which one are you rooting for here, guys?
And
It's
don't
like
get me
Michigan
wrong.
State fans. You're rooting for green or white. Pick a color.
I say that all the time.
Go green. Go white. Pick
It's
a fucking color.
It's the same team. Why are you arguing?
No, I will say I'm a Stafford fan. I've never shied away from that. I do like Matthew. If he ends up beating them, he will have my support all the way through. But the team I saw last week or Saturday, I think they've got that game.
See, I think the Rams, not because I want to see it. I think the Rams are dangerous.
They are dangerous.
I think they're a dangerous team. They're more dangerous than a couple of the other teams that you could see. I really believe that.
If they can get the team they played as on Saturday,
Yeah.
I think they can handle the Rams at their best.
The Rams have a hell of a passing attack. They've got Cooper Kupp. They got Stafford throwing to Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Puka Nacua. You've got Kieran Williams is a stud.
I'm a huge fan.
That dude's a stud. I think they would scare me if I was a fan of a playoff team that they're going to play. They really would. But again, just for me, just for shits and giggles and the fact I really want to fucking enjoy it, give me
God, I should have never brought that shit
give
up.
me the Rams versus Detroit in Detroit.
I need it.
God, please give
But
me
if
that.
the Rams can pull off a win, we don't get that in the first round.
You go. Who would you get?
Wouldn't it go up? Wouldn't they go up?
I don't think so.
Or no, going up would mean Philadelphia would have to drop. Never mind.
Yeah,
I am wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
I think
so.
you guys would
I
dump
forgot.
truck Philly.
Let me see the
I
play.
think most teams right now are going to dump truck Philly.
Yeah,
And I hate to say that because I
Playoff
do like
seeding?
Philly, but
I think you would absolutely.
yeah, Philly. I think Philly's the 5 seed right now.
I think the Lions would curb stomp. the
I think
Eagles.
5's Philly, 6 is Los Angeles, and then
So-
7 is Green Bay.
Seven
Minnesota?
teams make the playoffs in
Yeah,
each,
'cause
in each
Green
division,
Bay
right?
winning it,
Green
right?
Bay's the last. Green Bay's number 7 right now.
Okay.
Dallas would play Green Bay right now. Los Angeles would play Detroit right now, the way it is.
right.
And they're 9-7. Green Bay's 8-8.
Yeah.
So Tampa Bay has got the division. If they win this next week, they have the tiebreaker over New Orleans based on best win percentage in common games. So Tampa Bay would win. As long as they win this week, Tampa Bay stays where they're at.
I mean, how can you not follow this?
Huh?
Do you see the look on my face right now?
You do see the look on your
I'm just watching him like, yeah.
Did I lose you guys?
A little bit. A little bit.
Oh, I was trying to make it. I was trying to clear it up. I guess I didn't succeed.
But you were half having a conversation.
Oh,
I think the other half was being done in your head.
well, no. Tampa Bay has the 4 seed locked up, right? So Philadelphia would still be 5
Yeah.
because they're not a division winner, and Dallas would win that division. So Los Angeles would not move up with a win, and they probably won't move down with a loss past Green Bay. So you're looking at Detroit
Yeah,
playing
that's what
Rams.
I said. No, I'm wrong
Like, you're-
about that.
You're basically looking at the Rams coming into
Yeah.
Detroit, and I'm fucking excited as
I
hell
told
for it.
you weeks ago that's what
I know.
wanted.
Jacksonville. So if they win, they have the tiebreaker over Indianapolis and Houston based on the head-to-head win percentage. So they'll win that division if they win this week. How do you feel about their one playoff possibility and winning division, and how do you feel about them in the playoffs?
I
if they
prefer
make it?
not to see them in the playoffs. I think if they make it in there, they're going to get dump trucked in the first round. It's just not
Probably
gonna
by
be-
my Browns.
Probably.
Because that's the way it would play out right now, is they would play the Browns.
I've said it to Chris a few times. We made the joke last week about it. I think Trevor Lawrence is a fraud at this point. I just do.
Yeah, I disagree a little bit. I don't think he's a fraud, but I think he has come back down to planet Earth again this year a little bit. I want to see more from him. He needs to show more.
Trust me, if he ends up showing more and he ends up turning this thing around, I'll be the first to admit I'm wrong. Just what I'm seeing from him right now, he's completely.
I think he's failed them a little bit this year. He regressed.
Yeah,
he absolutely regressed.
I mean, for what was supposed to happen, what we as fans were supposed to see once Urban Meyer left that program,
and you saw it last year.
You started to see it last
right,
year.
and then that playoff game happened, and you really saw it. And then this year was a complete
Just totally
backwards.
went down the shitter.
Yeah, it was a complete regression. Truthfully.
Yeah, and that's why I say I think he's a fraud. I would prefer to see them lose this week and just not have their confidence destroyed like it's going to be in the first round of the playoffs. Because as good as Cleveland's defense is, and we saw it last week, Joe Flacco right now is not one to be fucked with.
Now let's be honest. I'm not just I dog the Browns when I
know
when I need to, and when that's a team that I love their chances in the playoffs right now.
You should, because they have a defense that can actually carry
because they're hitting their stride at the right time, right? I mean, 35% of their salary is on IR right now, and yet their defense is stellar, and Joe Flacco, elite Joe. Let's not disrespect him. It's elite Joe.
Stefanski coach of the year, baby.
Put some respect on his name.
For real.
Honestly, and I dog Stefanski.
Oh yeah.
It's hard for me to dog his performance of that team this year.
Yeah.
Because they have overachieved from what they should have achieved at this point.
With all the injuries and shit quarterbacking,
They started
absolutely.
4
Yeah.
fucking different quarterbacks this year. 4. And they're still at an 11-5 record.
2 of which nobody's ever even heard of except for you.
True.
Good point. Like I even had that.
True.
Like, who the fuck is this?
Well,
guy?
you heard of PJ Walker.
I mean, I've heard of him.
I mean, he played for
I didn't know he was still in the
He played
league.
for right, okay. So but you've heard of him. And the Dorian Thompson Robinson guy. Yeah, I mean, no, that was one, but
He started a game and I still haven't heard of him.
That's a good point.
touche.
I heard that. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
Can't use that math when 18% is held up by one player.
I think he's talking about Deshaun.
Oh. Well, yeah, what Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb. I mean, 2 of their pieces, their huge pieces going into the year are on IR. Nick Chubb being on IR is bigger than Deshaun Watson, in my opinion.
I mean, clearly we've seen that because they've done better with every other quarterback.
And again, put respect on his name.
Yeah.
It's Elite Joe.
I mean,
Now, is there any possibility of any of these guys coming back during the playoffs? Or are they out for the year?
No, they're out for the year.
I didn't know if this was Detroit's situation like with CJGJ.
Oh, no.
Where, he's out for the year.
They could get a couple of guys back. But I love their chances this year, almost as much as I did the year going in with Baker, where they ended up beating Pittsburgh and they were this close to beating Kansas City. I would have never said that halfway through the year, man.
No
And
pun intended.
I didn't.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
But I want to see them in Baltimore because it's going to be an absolute fucking dogfight.
yeah.
Dogfight.
That's why I said no pun intended, but it is. It's going
No,
to be
I
a
want to. I
dogfight.
want to see that too. And honestly, Cleveland already beat them this year.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, it's now was Baltimore the same team then as they are now? I don't think so. They're playing better than they were, but I actually believe Cleveland's playing better than they were at that point in time
I
too.
agree with you.
So I would love to see that too. And I'm sounds funny to say, but I really do like Cleveland's chances in the playoffs, getting in there and making a run. I personally think they're better than Kansas City. I think they're
I think
right.
I think if they play Kansas City, I think they roll Kansas City.
I'm hesitant to say that, but I kind of feel the same way, man.
Like you look, there's some they don't have any offense. Like
Yep.
they struggle to score points, and then you go up against that defense.
Yeah.
No, I think Cleveland rolls them.
I think Miami would give them a hard time in Miami, but I still would pick Cleveland to win that game.
I look at Casey and I look at Philadelphia as the exact same team right now. The wheels are coming off. It's just a matter of when.
I think whoever wins that division between Jacksonville and Indianapolis is going to get curb stomped by the Browns.
That's very possible.
I
can see
really
that.
truly do believe that that's going
I
to
mean,
happen.
you're gonna have that defense against Gardner Minshew or Trevor Lawrence.
Or a banged up Trevor Lawrence.
You know I won't talk bad about Gardner Minshew.
Of course
I know
not.
you won't.
Our Lord and Savior.
However,
Let's speak bad about him.
He's your Lord Jesus Christ.
However, you look at that situation, that's not an ideal situation for either of them.
However, he's absolutely fucked if that happens.
Yeah, so I mean, I think all three of us have a reason to be excited going into this playoff season. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I think if Buffalo makes it, having all three of our teams
That'd be great.
in there,
Have
gonna be kind of fun.
Meaningful football to talk about.
going to be kind of fun.
that'd be
And the
great.
Lions and the Browns making the playoffs in the same year. Let me just throw this out into the ether. If this turns into a Lions-Browns Super Bowl, watch out for flying pigs and
yeah.
find one of those bunkers that those billionaires have built because the world is ending. It's coming to an
We'll
end.
have to make one of those posters, one of those fight posters, me and you standing on either side.
I mean,
Don't make Chris hold that up at SmackDown.
There you go. Yeah, all right.
the world is ending if that happens. I'm
just going to hold a
saying
sign up that says, I hope both teams lose.
it. I hope the refs win.
Go refs.
And usually against Detroit they do. So
So,
You're not lying. It's not the reason they lose, but you're not lying either.
yep. All right, we go into the picks.
yeah, let's do it.
All right.
This segment is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group.
It's time!
Okay. Last week, not a great week for any of us, but we were all. What's the word? What's that word that we use?
Mid.
Mid. We were all mid.
I was going to go middle of the road.
Mid. You got to shorten it like today's people do.
Yeah.
Today's people.
Like you people do. You got to shorten it.
Here we go with the you people again.
Yeah.
It was very mid.
Speaking of the you people, real quick, Marshawn Lynch gave the whole
Hey, paisano.
during the pregame yesterday. I was dying.
He is you people for you, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's one of your people. You love that guy.
I thought that was a great event yesterday. I thought they
did an
a great
excellent
job
job.
with it. I
Oh,
thought the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job with
I
it.
actually watched it until it was it 3-0 or 4-0?
I think it finished
Crack.
3-0.
3-0. When it was 3-0 crack, and
Yep.
I ended up turning it off.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, all right, I'm done.
I mean, I had both TVs going. So
I
it's
did
like,
too. I did too. But
okay.
even at that point, I turned it off,
Yeah.
and I
5
forgot
o'clock,
what
I went over to the Michigan game, but I still had it playing on the small
No,
TV.
it's,
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job with it, and Seattle's jerseys on TV look fantastic.
And we talked about this. At first, wasn't really a fan of
Yeah,
them.
but seeing them like
They
on the ice,
grew on me.
I thought they looked great. Vegas's look like shit.
Vegas's, I still don't understand
I didn't get it. I'm like,
why
okay,
you have a ribbon making a V.
yeah, with middle fingers coming out of the top
Yeah,
of it. Yeah,
like-
I'm like, okay, these are trash. Like honestly, that's kind of what it looked like.
Mr. Bean.
They're like this. But I thought Seattle's jerseys look great. Honestly, I think they should do that as a third jersey. I really do.
I would be down for that.
I would actually buy that. I really would.
And it's the other thing I've noticed with this current season going on.
Do you have a Kraken jersey?
No. I want one though.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I kind of dig the Kraken.
I love that logo.
I think it's one of the only teams you don't have,
Yeah,
right?
it is one of the only teams I don't have. I think there's like 6 teams I don't have.
There's that many teams you don't have? Wow.
What's teams I hate? Like Ottawa. I don't want to.
You learn something new every day. I would have thought you had almost every team.
I don't
honestly.
want an Ottawa Senators jersey.
No, I think I know the answer to this question.
You wouldn't get a Spezza jersey?
No.
Do you have a California Seals jersey?
Now the reverse retro one or an
No, the actual
no,
one.
I do
Okay.
not. However, when I just picked up my Canada McDavid jersey, what the guy I take it to, he has 2 vintage Nordiques jerseys that he's restoring for a guy, like game worn. Oh, these things are beat to shit, but they're fucking beautiful. Like lady friend saw them, she was like, "Holy shit, these look."
You'll have to take pictures of them. If they're
I
still
will next
there.
time when I go. I guess I got a USA jersey there now, so when I go pick that up, I'll take pictures of it and send it.
Who you getting on the back of that one?
My USA jersey?
Yeah.
Cami Granado.
Oh,
It's
not
the
a popular choice, but I like it.
It's the '98 Olympic one.
Okay.
So, and then
I like it.
And the Canada one was the 2014 World Juniors.
Okay.
So it was funny when he's put it on because he wore 17 in that tournament, and he was like, "Wait a minute, this is the wrong number. It's 97." I'm like, And then he thought about it for a second. He's like, "Oh, this is the World Juniors. He wore 17 in that." So he got it right, but he was freaking out about it when he was doing the jersey. But he got it right.
Anyway,
Good. Turned out great.
Joe, let the naysayers know.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
What?
Have you not seen this yet?
Oh, you got to watch this shit. It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
They were doing like
What'd I miss?
They were doing pregame before the Rose Bowl yesterday, and it was
college game day.
yeah,
Okay.
it was Reese Davis, Desmond Howard, Galloway, and who was the other guy?
McAfee.
And McAfee.
Galloway's pretty good.
And they
I like
said, what was it? Milrose.
McAfee and Herb Street was there too.
Yeah, Herb Street was there. Yeah,
but he
that's
wasn't really a part of it.
right. And it was like Milrose saying or whatever.
Yeah.
Before,
It's
just saying to get him hyped up. or-
LANK, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's like the name of his brand.
Yeah, and it says it means let the naysayers know. But how Reese Davis was saying it, like all the people on the panel thought, let the no,
Oh yeah, they thought he was dropping.
They thought he was dropping the N-bomb big time. Like everybody on the panel, the shit was hilarious.
Okay,
Like
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh yeah, it's great. Like all the like Desmond and Galloway were just like, what the fuck, like just dying.
He's like, we really thought it was about to go down on.
Oh
this.
yeah, oh it's great.
I have to look that
It
up.
was great
Like,
TV.
before you leave here, you will see this clip. I will make
Okay,
sure. of it.
look it up for me because
Yes.
I need to see that.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was really funny.
All right, so back to the picks for last week.
Yep.
Myself, Eric, and Frank were all 7, 8, and 1.
Oh shit, dude.
Chris,
Not
you
good.
were 8, 7, and 1.
Oh shit! I actually won the week.
You won the week.
Yeah, baby.
The one tie was Las Vegas and Indianapolis, where Indianapolis was giving up 3
Gotcha.
and won by 3.
Right.
Or wait,
What? What just happened here?
I have no idea. I'm trying to find the clip. I just heard everybody asking questions, so I was like, "This might be the time."
I
for
was
me to
doing this
join
last
in.
night. Did I fuck that one up? I think I did.
Maybe you did.
Maybe I did.
You could have fucked that up.
I could have fucked that up.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, it would.
How is this clip not on YouTube?
I think I sent it to you on,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Instagram.
Did you send it to me on Instagram?
Yeah, so they won by 3, but they were giving up 3, so it was tight. Yeah, it was tight.
You
Yeah,
got it right.
No, I got it right.
Yes.
You want me to just play it on the show?
No, it probably won't
Okay.
come through good on the phone. But yeah, so Chris, you won the week. One game over 500, basically. For the year, you are 138, 128, and 7.
Okay.
Eric is 136, 130, and 7. Frank is 114, 107, and 4. I am 135, 131, and 7. So we are all above 500, which is okay. Literally, it's the definition
It's
of okay.
Alrighty then.
It is the absolute definition of okay.
All right, let's get to this week's picks. Obviously, the last college football game of the year. Washington taking on Michigan in the college football playoff national championship game. Michigan is laying 4.5. I took Washington. Joe took Washington. Eric and Frank both took Michigan.
It's like watching a bunch of retards trying to fuck a doorknob.
Moving on to the NFL slate, we have Pittsburgh laying 3.5, taking on Baltimore. I took Pittsburgh. Joe took Baltimore. Eric and Frank also took Baltimore.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
Apparently, Kenny Pickett might be dead. Did you hear what he did?
Oh,
He refused to back up
so
Mason
it's,
Rudolph.
Yeah,
And then he came out and said that was a lie.
There's
I don't.
There's
I
conflicting
don't know if it's true or
reports
anything,
that he it's conflicting reports. There's a report saying he refused to back him up, and then there's also a report saying, and he even came out and said, no, that's completely false. I did not.
I don't know.
So I don't know. What I do know is that team looks much better without him playing quarterback.
Fair enough.
So
I believe he said it. Same way I believe Zach Wilson said it.
That you didn't want to play?
Yeah, that he didn't want to play.
I mean, it's just weird that you're seeing all this stuff now with a Tomlin coach team.
Yeah, I know.
you never used to see this shit.
You can't let that shit happen.
Exactly.
You can't.
Next up, we got Houston taking on Indianapolis. This game's basically a pick'em. Indianapolis is laying 1. I took Houston. Joe took Indianapolis. Eric and Frank also took Indianapolis.
You're a loser.
Probably. Next up, we got Atlanta taking on New Orleans. New Orleans is laying 3.5. I took the Falcons. Joe took New Orleans. Eric took the Falcons. And Frank took New Orleans.
Fuck you both.
Joe agrees.
Nice. Next up, we got Jacksonville laying 5, taking on Tennessee. I took Jacksonville. Joe took Jacksonville. Eric took Jacksonville. And Frank took Tennessee.
I'm ready to go.
Shut up. I hate you.
That's right. Next up, we got Cleveland taking on Cincinnati. Cincinnati's laying 4.5. I took Cincinnati. Joe, you took Cincinnati. Eric and Frank took Cleveland.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
Next up, we got Seattle laying 3, taking on Arizona. I don't know why I even fucking picked this game, but I did.
Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island?
For picking this game, I should go back to my home on Whore Island. I took Seattle. Joe took Arizona. Eric and Frank took Seattle.
It was in international waters, so they couldn't prosecute him, but I saw it.
Next up, we got the Rams taking on the Niners. Niners are laying 3.5. I took the Rams. We all took the Rams.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Except for herpes. That shit'll come back with you.
Next up, we got the Bills laying 3, taking on the Dolphins. I took the Dolphins. Joe took the Dolphins. Eric took the Bills, and Frank took the Dolphins.
It's not illegal. It's frowned upon, like masturbating on an airplane. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
And as always, the biggest game of the week, the Vikings taking on the Lions. The Lions are laying 5.5, and we all took the Lions.
Hey, Old Man River, zip it or I'll break your hip.
He has a 5-year plan.
What is it? Don't die?
And those are this week's picks.
All right!
Nice.
All right. I think that was we found things to talk about. I didn't think we were going to have much to talk about.
We managed to put together a show.
I didn't know if we were going to get there, man.
I didn't either.
But we did.
We did. So. And we all did our reads, and everything worked out in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I fired off my read at the beginning of the show.
I guess next week's my turn.
I mean, at some point, I think we're just going to do simultaneous reads.
We'll just start reading together at the same time. Like, you first, me first. Hold on. You want
You do a line, then you do a line, then I'll do a line.
That's right.
You can just piece them all together, guys.
We did all 3 reads at the same time. You just got to decipher them.
Right.
Anything else?
Yes. I want to give a shout out to my mom. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Mom. Love you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. Yeah. 29, right?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Always.
Happy 29th birthday, Mom.
Absolutely.
I hope it's a great day for you.
Certainly.
It's a Tuesday after New Year's, so it's probably not that great of a day. Yeah. But it's your birthday, so it's got to be pretty damn good.
It's your birthday. Yay.
It's your birthday.
Somebody else's is coming up, too, I think.
But yeah, like February 25th.
No. Somebody else's.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Give us a like and share and follow us. Social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all our podcasts at your favorite podcast provider. As always, check out SOTDET.com. Click on shop, buy some stuff. Click on shop, buy some stuff.
Abort.
It supports us. So SOTDET.com. On behalf of...
Actually, a lady friend just bought a sweatshirt.
Did she?
She did.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to get a new one, too.
Yeah?
I'll be doing that shortly.
Awesome. So I'm wearing mine right now, and it's the red hooded sweatshirt that we always talk about.
Lady friend says, wait, mine is January 25th. Is it? Are you sure? It's the 25th? It's January 25th? Are you sure?
On behalf of these two fuckers and Eric from where he's at, and lady friend upstairs whose birthday is January 25th, we are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye, have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No, 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 no!
Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
Hey,
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
You were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I've ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.